that the time for action is now. The lives of millions depends on our ability to navigate this complex and challenging situation with wisdom, clarity of mind, empathy for the millions whose lives and livelihoods have been plunged into uncertainty, concerns for DRC's lost opportunity to accelerate its growth and development, and a steadfast commitment to peace and justice. A terrible yet indisputable act is that the humanitarian cost of the conflict in the DRC has been staggering. Millions of civilians have been displaced and many lives under the persistent threat of violence, including sexual and gender-based violence against women and children, and the recruitment of children to take part in combat. We have a historic opportunity to rise to our moral duty of making the protection of civilians our foremost priority, and of taking measures to ensure that the necessary resources Therefore, we call upon the international community to step up and do its part in supporting regional efforts in delivering for the DRC, and critically collaborating with the government of the DRC to deliver support and security to those most in need. It is clear that the conflict in DRC is complex, delicate, protracted, and involves multiple actors pursuing different interests. The issues at stake span a wide historical, economic, and political spectrum, run back in time for many decades, and spill across national and regional borders. There is also a clandestine international dimension at work, whose persistent, cynical, and destructive effects must neither be underestimated or ignored any longer. For this reason, it is equally clear that such a conflict cannot be resolved through military means. We must resist the temptation to think that we can somehow shoot or bombard our way into a solution in the face of such a complex situation. Instead, we have to agree that only a comprehensive diplomatic approach, one that addresses the root causes of the crisis, secures the historical integrity and territorial integrity of DRC, and affirms the sovereignty of its people and their aspirations for freedom, justice, and development. That is what will establish peace, and enduring peace at that, in DRC. Such an approach must also bring together multiple stakeholders, regional states, international bodies, political organizations, civil society groups, and the Congolese government itself to dialogue and collaborate in order to explore, develop, and implement a lasting solution. Excellencies, I am confident that you agree with me that dialogue is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to our collective wisdom and strength, both as leaders and as communities. It shows our capacity to articulate issues patiently and clearly, listen to each other, consult comprehensively with a common goal in mind, and negotiate patiently until we reach a better outcome than the bitter results of bloodshed. It is in this spirit that we must encourage all parties to put aside their differences and mobilize for engagement in constructive dialogue aimed at achieving the sustainable solution of conflict by peacefully addressing all underlying issues. I believe that we have a singular opportunity to build on the gains and lessons of Rwanda and Nairobi peace processes. We have a historic opportunity as the broader neighborhood of the DRC to mobilize our collective will into a fused, single, and coherent initiative towards the resolution of this complex crisis. Such an approach will bring all our assets to bear and minimize the possibility of parallel initiatives that duplicate and undermine progress, including creating unnecessary competition as we strive for peace. My dear brothers and sisters, this calls for our unwavering political support. I therefore urge Your Excellencies at this extraordinary joint summit to deploy our best effort and master our total commitment to facilitate a sustainable settlement that lays the foundation for a stable and prosperous democratic Republic of Congo. I dare say, Excellencies, the situation may be complex, it may be protracted, it may have been with us for years, but I believe the situation in the DRC can be solved, should be solved, and must be solved. For this reason, it may also be prudent for the consolidated single EAC Sadc initiative on this matter to be supported by a strong secretariat that can provide the necessary coordination, monitoring, and enforcement to ensure effective implementation of outcomes. The international community must stand in solidarity with the people of DRC during this time by aligning their support with this initiative. I conclude, Excellencies, by affirming our robust commitment to achieving sustainable peace and development and integration across the region. The security of DRC is essential not only for the stability of the country, but also to the prosperity and cohesion of the entire EAC and SADC. We call upon all parties to prioritize dialogue, cooperation, and above all, the protection of civilian lives. I thank you once again for being able to be here on this very important mission. It is a historic mission because for the first time, two regional economic blocs come together as a testament of the seriousness of the challenge we face, but also underscoring our commitment to provide leadership to resolve this issue. Thank you very much. May the Almighty God bless all of you and bless our region. Asanteni sana. Merci beaucoup. Mayor Brigato. Thank you very much.
Relax.
Hawajawahi kutuangusha.
Hata wewe unaweza kuagiza gari bora na uipendalo kupitia.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community. We're now going to have another statement from His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is co-chair to this meeting and Chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. Your Excellency, you may proceed to deliver your remarks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Mr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community and co-chair of this summit. Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and Chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government from our regional bodies, honorable ministers who are here, the Sadc Executive Secretary, His Excellency Elias Magosi, the EAC Secretary General, His Excellency Mrs. Veronica Ndua, comrades and friends. It is my distinct honor and privilege to make these remarks of welcome to this historic gathering. Firstly, may I express heartfelt gratitude to you, my dear sister and colleague, Your Excellency, President Dr. Samia Hassan, along with the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, for the warm welcome and gracious hospitality extended to my delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Dar es Salaam. In the same spirit, I also extend sincere appreciation to my dear brother, Your Excellency, President William Ruto, for your astute leadership for the East African community and for agreeing to meet at short notice. Equally, our respective secretariats, senior officials and Council of Ministers are commended for their diligent work in preparation for this joint summit. Your efforts have laid a solid foundation for our discussions today. Allow me, on behalf of Sadc, the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, to once again convey heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the member states and families of the brave peacekeepers who lost their lives in the service of the people of DRC and indeed the cause of peace. We also recognize the loss of civilian lives and livelihoods that has resulted from the increased insecurity and insurgency in Eastern DRC. Our prayers continue to be made for the affected families and the communities. Your Excellencies, this historic summit of our two regional blocs is testament to our shared commitment to the founding values of the African Union. Such joint initiatives must see us scale up bold and decisive actions to silence the guns on our continent, but most immediately implement lasting solutions to the escalating conflict and the humanitarian crisis in the Eastern DRC. Undoubtedly, ongoing instability, growing hostilities, and the ever-increasing number of internally displaced persons in the Eastern DRC has far-reaching consequences, not only for the people of DRC alone, but also for our regions and the African continents African continent as a whole. The unity, solidarity, and unbreakable bonds of the peoples of the continent must stand the test of such trying times as we face. We must remain as solidly united as we were during the struggle for complete emancipation and independence of Africa from colonialism. We thus have a duty and a collective responsibility to comprehensively, frankly, tackle and address the various challenges that are impending the realization of peace and security for the people of Eastern DRC. Drawing from our rich African values and heritage, and further emboldened by the spirit and letter of the United Nations Charter, the constitutive act of the African Union, as well as the treaties of both Sadc and the EAC, let us seize this opportunity to ensure convergence and a coordinated response which is mutually reinforcing towards one common objective. I thus challenge all of us to approach the agenda before us with openness, honesty, flexibility, and commitment to building a lasting peace for Mother Africa. The all-encompassing interests of the people of the DRC must be at the core of our deliberations. Let us do much more to realize sustainable peace in our sister republic of DRC in our lifetime. To date, Sadc notes and acknowledges the progress made under the Rwanda and Nairobi processes, aimed at silencing the guns, as well as facilitating dialogue among all parties to the conflict. This summit, therefore, should lead us forward towards a concrete roadmap to help resolve the ongoing crisis. As the leaders entrusted to nurture and facilitate unity, peace, and development in this era, we cannot let the peoples of our regions down. Their hope is in us here. The Sadc bloc remains unwavering and committed to continue playing its part. With these remarks, I wish the summit fruitful deliberations. And thank you. Asante sana, Katinda.
My name is Mkutano. I'm a professor of electrical engineering and computer science at MIT. The partnership that we have with professional education.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. We are getting to the end of the official opening ceremony. May I please request that we have 2 rounds of applause for our co-chairpersons for those statements. Thank you. This marks the end of the official opening ceremony, which was open to the media and the invited guests. At this point, we will allow the members of the press to be excused and leave the room so that we allow their excellencies to deliberate on the agenda. The meeting participation is 1+5. Again, we will request delegations that were invited to the official opening, but who are outside the 5 configuration to be excused. As the media is exiting, just to repeat the language channels, English is on channel 1, French is on channel 2, Portuguese is on channel 3, and Kiswahili is on channel 4. Members of the press, the statements will be shared with you, and we will invite you during the closing ceremony where a communique will be issued. Thank you very much. We appreciate your attendance this morning. Thank you.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1, ni matangazo haya moja kwa moja hapo Ikulu ya Dar es Salaam. Ugeni mzito kabisa, viongozi wakuu wa nchi mataifa hayo kutoka jumuiya ya Sadc pamoja na Afrika Mashariki kujadili kile ambacho kinaendelea kule Kongo na